So the meeting's called to order at 7:31 p.m. on Tuesday, October 6, 2020 at 7:31. I have a short paragraph to read. Information regarding this remote electronic public meeting. On March 14th, 2020.
Excuse me, Aaron, you got to start at the top. You got to start and read the whole thing from Town of Monroe, Monroe Historic District. You got to read the whole 2 pages.
I don't have that part. Mine starts information regarding this remote electronic public meeting. And it is. I was reading the paragraph before that. So I'll read it. On October 14th, 2020, in response to COVID-19 pandemic, and in an effort to reduce the risk of transmission by virtue of attendance at public meetings, Governor Lamont suspended in-person open meeting requirements and permits conducting public meetings remotely by conference call, video conference, or other technology. A copy of the full text of Executive Order 7B1 is available for review at Town of Monroe's website, www.monroeconnecticut.org. Accordingly, the Town of Monroe has selected GoToMeeting as the preferred technology application to conduct this remote public meeting in compliance with Executive Order 7B1. This technology will permit up to 250 members of the public to participate in real time in the public meeting via computer. Did someone mute their line? I don't know. Sorry. Gary, is that you?
Yes, I got it down.
Thanks. This technology will permit up to 250 members of the public to participate in real time in the public meeting via computer, tablet, smartphone, or telephone via the access information set forth on this meeting agenda. It is highly recommended that any interested participant download and utilize the GoToMeeting software applications, which are available in the meeting link below prior to the commencement of the meeting. Each meeting will have a unique participation information, including access code, phone number, and live link. Please be sure that you are accessing the correct information for the correct meeting. Notice is hereby given that this remote electronic public meeting shall, 1, permit the public to view, list, or listen anonymously, and when permitted, participate in real time. 2, be recorded and posted to the town's website within 7 days. 3, be made available to the public within a reasonable time in town hall or upon written request. In addition to the standard parliamentary procedure as outlined on this agenda, following special rules shall apply to all participants. Please mute your microphone so as to reduce background noise at any time when you are not speaking. Prior to speaking on each occasion, each speaker shall clearly state their name and title for the record. Their use of chat features are prohibited and will not be considered during this meeting if in use. Notice is hereby given that only 250 participants may access this remote electronic public meeting at any one time. Access is granted solely by the GoTo technology on the first access basis and is not within the control of the Town of Monroe. While it is anticipated that this participant limit will be sufficient, should the participants reach such said limit, the meeting may be adjourned and continued at a later date using technology appropriate to ensure that all members of the public may participate. Woo! All right.
Well done.
That's a lot of words.
You, Aaron.
You're welcome.
Now you know why I leave. Hey, before
are we sharing video?
No.
You don't need to.
No. I'm on the phone, Gary.
Oh, okay, very good.
So before you guys get into the meeting, I'd like to take a moment. It's a bittersweet one to thank Alice for all her years of service and more importantly, the 31 years of friendship we've had as her neighbor, because I know we're all going to miss her. She made so many contributions to this commission, most notably the bell tower, which was almost entirely her creation from thought forward to execution. And it truly took what could have been a terrible looking roundabout and made it really classy and gives us a gateway into Monroe that we never had. So Alice, thank you for all you've done. Thank you for all your great friendship. And I know we're all going to miss Alice, and but she will never be forgotten. So thank you, Alice, on behalf of all of us.
All right, I'm tearing up a little bit. Thank you. I will miss that.
We'll miss you, definitely. All right.
That voice, right?
You can still call into our meetings.
Absolutely.
Anytime you need me, just give me a call.
We'll need your advice.
Yeah, said goodbye to the house today. So.
Call you when we have a second roundabout.
Oh, okay. Hey, before this actually really starts, Chuck, I left an envelope in your mailbox. It's funny.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
All right. Yeah, I'll be back in Connecticut on Thursday late, so.
All right. Well, all of you are welcome to come if you ever decide to go leaf peeping. It's absolutely gorgeous here in the, I'm in Morris, which is right next to Bantam, where they have the Arethusa ice cream and amazing coffee, and the lake's gorgeous. So anytime, give me a holler.
Be careful what you wish for.
Oh, no.
The McGoldricks
You
will be up
really,
there.
it's such a simple drive, and it's just a different part of Connecticut. It's beautiful.
Hey, Kat, can we have remote meetings in Morris?
Sure.
That's what
Okay.
remote means. You can have them anywhere you want.
Exactly. There you go. And I wish all of you the very best, and thank you for all that you've contributed as well, members. It's been we've had our ups and our downs with different meetings, haven't we? Yeah,
some of
but
them
it's
are
always
more
been
memorable than others.
Well, we wanted to make sure that you wouldn't forget us.
yeah, but it was always such a pleasure to walk out with everyone and just know how much caring you all have for the historic district. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alice.
All right.
Again, from the bottom of my heart. Aaron,
Oh.
why don't you start with the approval of the minutes, which I don't think we have.
Okay, I was going to say, do we have any minutes at this time to approve? If
I don't
not, we
think so.
will. So what do we waive that to the next meeting, or is it just say none to
We'll
approve?
we'll postpone it to the next meeting.
Okay, I'm taking notes. That's why I postponed.
I would just say
You should also ask
there's no minutes available.
these new owners. You should ask one of them to be a part of it, because I think they'd be really interested in being a part of the historic district.
Okay.
So it definitely would be worth reaching out.
We're gonna have a vacancy to fill, so certainly if you speak to them, have them reach out to me. I've spoken to him before.
No, I won't be speaking with them. Unfortunately. Well, no, closings are all done virtually also. So
Yeah, everything.
Okay.
Are you totally moved out, Alice?
yes, we are out. We close on Thursday. House sold in 2 days. It was
That's great.
shocking, and there was a bidding war. It was wild.
Wow.
Excellent.
I know. I didn't think it would happen, but like I was expecting it to be on the market for a long time, like most historicals are. But the house is beautiful.
It must have been the ceiling. It must have been the ceiling.
It was definitely the ceiling. There's no doubt about it. Yeah, definitely. All right, let's do this.
All right. So the next thing we have on the agenda is our preliminary hearing. Robert and Laura Josephson of 4 Historic Drive to install a swimming pool. Robert, if you have some information to let us know about the proposed project and what you want to do.
Sure. Hello, everyone. It's been about 1.5 years since we chatted. Hope you guys are all doing well. Chuck, are there any new members since I was last before I
Nope.
kicked? Everybody's the same?
There's Gary Thompson, Aaron McGoldrick, Alice Pulliam, and myself.
Okay, good. Alice, congratulations on the move. You're the dark brown house, right? Across from Chuck?
Yes, yes.
All right. That's what I thought. Yeah. It was beautiful. I looked at it when it was online. It was beautiful inside. You did a nice job with it.
Thank you. It was a labor of love.
Good luck with everything, and thanks for your service to the town.
Thank you.
So, as you guys know, we've done a lot of work to the house, and thank you for your support through the last 1.5 years. The last thing that we would like to do is put in a pool. If I can share, I can probably just show you. You want me to talk to like the back of the yard so I can kind of talk through it? Would that be helpful?
Yes.
Definitely.
Let me see if I can do that. I don't.
Robert, perhaps if you describe the lot where 4 Historic is and some of the work you've done before, because I think that's important just to understand the scope.
You're the
of your
house with all
project.
the Halloween decorations, right?
That's us. Yeah. So we are.
It looks awesome.
Oh, thank you. I was getting concerned that you might send a letter saying I was doing something wrong, but so far so good.
No.
No, it looks wonderful.
People stop by and are taking pictures this year. I think maybe people are just been so cooped up and like are just looking for any sort of enjoyment that we've actually had people stop by and take pictures this year. So funny.
Well, it definitely put a smile on my face. So thank you for that. It was beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Looks great.
So the house has been, essentially completely redone on the outside. When we stripped the old wood siding off, about 60% of the plywood was rotted, so we ended up replacing most of the plywood. I know Chuck's a picture of that early on in the permitting process. So we did all that. We put all new siding up, new windows, new roof, and added the deck on the back. And then we also expanded the lot and cleared a lot of that out, and then planted, which are growing. I can't believe how fast they've grown from this time last year when we planted them to this year. About 2 dozen arborvitaes along the 111 side of the road. So those are growing pretty fast and are already, the new growth at the top is already going above the deck. So those are going to be, we're watering them as quickly and as what we can to get them as tall and quick as possible. But we're very pleased with how the house has turned out and all the work we put into it. One of the reasons, we wanted to expand the yard was obviously we had a nice full acre that was flat. And we have a little one and we have a lot of friends over and his friends are over. So it just gives them a nice area in the yard to play in now. And then we get to see all our friends as they drive by so far until the trees get taller. And so what we'd like to, kind of finish off the deck and the areas is to add a pool. I've had, I can't figure out how to share the screen. Maybe it's just because I don't have control of it, but I think you guys are probably familiar with the backyard and the deck. We're looking at putting a 20 by 40 rectangle double Roman style pool as centered to the deck as possible, and as close to the deck as possible. The issue we have is our septic system is at 30% capacity right now. So two of the 3 lines are already full and are essentially closed off. The 3rd line is still functioning. We had purchased the Procept septic insurance when we purchased the house, and so we're just waiting in the next few months to see if that 3rd line ends up failing, and then they'll move this to the back of the yard. We might be able to keep the septic tank, which is off the deck, and they wouldn't have to do that. So the exact centering of the potential pool kind of depends on that septic tank because we have to be 25 feet from the septic tank. And so it may be one end is center of the stairs to the other side toward 111. Or it may, so ideally parallel is what we really want to go, is parallel with the deck in the rectangle. If worst case scenario would be perpendicular depending on what we do with the septic tank and the system itself at the end of it. So that's the only pending item is kind of, where they're going to end up with the septic system.
This is going to be an in-ground pool?
All right, yeah, that's correct, Gary, an in-ground pool.
Okay.
Plans for a fence around the pool? Because I believe obviously you have to have one, right, with an in-ground pool.
Yep.
That's correct. 6 foot 10.
That's right. So yeah, so the fence would hopefully kind of come off the deck and they fenced in on the 3 sides, with the 4th side being the house and the deck, with the alarms on the doors to be compliant. The other option that I want, if you guys were okay with it, that we could look at doing, would be potentially fencing around the whole yard, the perimeter of the yard, with the white fence that you see at the end of historic, the house, that's the big greenhouse that's sold, or the greenish brown house that's sold, with how they have their fence on the on the Fan Hill side. A fence similar to that may go across like the back corner of the house toward 111, and then down the 111 side, and then the normal pool fence that you would see on the other 2 sides. I want to get some quotes for that, but I want to just kind of lay that out there, what you guys would be comfortable with. And if you tell me we would prefer you not to do kind of that white fence on the right side of the house, if you're looking at it toward the 111 side and down 111, we wouldn't do that, and we would just fence in the pool off the deck.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
I think so. I can picture it. I think so. This is Aaron, obviously. Chuck, what are your thoughts on that?
You may want to run the fencing down the 111 side and then separately fence the pool. The reason I say that is visibility, noise, and the more open the pool is, the greater the risks are. And I only speak from experience that our pool is separately fenced. Our yard is fenced parallel to the road to keep kids in the backyard. And my experience has been that it's much easier to keep track of kids when they can't get into the pool unless you let them in, versus it's an extension of the house. But again, I'd leave that up to you. But yeah, it's depending on where you put the pool. I think you've got a lot of time to make that decision. What I would suggest is, if you go around the pool separately, or however you do it, make sure you can see inside of it. In terms of, you don't want to block access to the pool, visual access. We have a 6-foot aluminum, black enameled aluminum fence, and you can always see what's in there. And I think that's important. So you may want to have the 2 fences, only so you've got a visual protection over there, but still have the access to the pool.
Okay.
And Bob, if you want to come over and take, our setup's not unique, but ours is away from the house, so you can separately obtain at the house or at the pool. But it's entirely up to you.
Okay.
I agree with the safety issue with having the pool surrounded separately. I too had a built-in pool, and first wanted it to have it grass. Changed that idea real quick. Had the whole thing slated in. But when you have a lot of children running around, you really do want to limit the area of how they can get in.
Got it.
That's my 2. Yeah.
That makes sense. And then,
either a fence like what Alice has, which is post and rail with wire behind it, or the aluminum. We went so far as that we have 16-foot 4x6s at the bottom of the fence, so there was no way you could possibly crawl under. We went a little extreme.
Exactly. Yeah.
Now, Chuck, when it comes to the pool, we allow pools in the historic district, so there's not really much we would say about that. It's more of the style of fencing that the commission might have comments upon, correct?
Fencing, if you had a portico out there, a gazebo, a number of pools I've seen with slides and diving boards. We have a slide on ours, but where ours is, we were very careful with ours. We've always left significant growth in the yard, so it's literally, you can see the very top of it in the dead of winter. But it's again, the whole idea is to block the view from the public access way, and to some degree from the neighbor's property. I mean, again, the whole notion is, if it's not visible to other people, it doesn't have a negative effect on the district.
Okay.
Or has a less.
That's fair. And we're not going to do, we don't want to do a pool. I'm sorry, a slide, and we're not going to do a diving board on it. So,
We had a diving board and we took it out.
yeah, I just think, I don't like the risk of the line. Bad enough. Having people.
A diving board will add to your insurance as well.
Yeah.
It sounds like it'll be beautiful. One other thing, and this really doesn't have anything to do with historic, but because of the wood split rail that we've had to have that replaced 3 times. It really gets a lot of wear and tear. So if I were to do it again from the beginning, I would do a metal fence like Chuck has,
Okay.
because the maintenance on that is it's definitely more expensive, but you'll save money in the long run.
Okay. Sounds good.
That's just my sense.
Bob, are you going to be able to see this from Route 111, or are the arborvitaes going to block the view?
So the goal is for the arborvitaes to block the view. I think they will for the most part. It might be that if you're coming down 111 going toward Massac,
Yeah.
you might see it and opened a little bit from that angle, but I think coming back up from Massac toward Town Green, it's going to be hard to see because those trees are going to be pretty
It's
tall.
amazing how they've grown. Yeah.
I can't believe it. I was just out there. I
Okay.
remember when they were planted, they were my height. Now they're.
What kind of? Bob, I was just asking what kind of arborvitae they are.
I think that the
Aren't
green.
they the green?
Giant.
Yeah, they're the green giant.
Oh yeah, those.
Yeah.
I'm glad you bought those. You will not regret it.
Yeah.
They grow up and they do not pull up, and you don't have to look underneath them.
That's great. Yeah, so we may, Gary, to answer your question, once we get get it in, I think we want to, like, maybe, my wife really, they're not, they're similar to cherry blossoms, but not quite. But you know how they get nice and pink in the springtime. We may want to plant like a couple of those if we don't, do that fence, like I said, going across the property and then down 111. Maybe plant those type of trees. And kind of block it a little bit more, but we definitely want to put some more, trees in the yard once we get kind of the pool laid out how we want it.
Very good. When are you planning on doing this?
So it's scheduled for April 1st, and then obviously, because as you guys know, everybody's are buying pools and everything else to entertain themselves at home right now. So the goal, we put a small deposit down to hold our spot for April 1st.
Okay.
Who's doing it?
Newtown Pools, Pat McDougal.
Okay. It sounds like a pretty good layout. I would suggest at a public hearing, though, what we've seen before is a plot drawing to show the dimensions from the house and the sideline and all of that, and how it's going to be laid out in relationship to your deck.
Okay, fair enough. Yep, and I do have that all here if you need to see it now, but if we can save it for the next time, that's fine.
We'll save it for the.
Save it for the next meeting.
Okay.
Well, what I'd like to do is, if you're going to, our approvals are good for a year. Yeah. So what we'll do is we'll look to do something in November or December. And then, Bob, if you send me all that information, I'll send it out to everybody separately. That way everyone will have it at home.
Okay. Cool. Works for me.
Sounds good.
It does sound good.
All right,
Questions or?
As I say, Bob, I think probably what we'd want to do is do it in December, because that gives you a little more time, and it gives you time to kind of sort out the details. I'm less concerned about the exact location of it versus what it's going to look like.
Okay.
So if it's perpendicular to the deck, or if it's parallel to the deck, or if it's off center, that's of less concern to me. than what it's going to look like when it's finished, not necessarily where it's located.
Okay, got it. All right, that sounds good.
And that gives us more flexibility that if we approve at conception, you say, oh, by the way, I have to move it over 5 or 6 feet. You can always alert us, and we can consider that to be a non-material change because we've approved the appearance.
Okay, awesome. That sounds great. We're not planning on doing any, like the Venables next door. I think they built a some sort of like small pool house or shed. We're not planning on doing that, but we would want to, like plant bushes around where the mechanical stuff is.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean,
Yeah.
We're not as worried about that. And what we don't want to be is in a situation where you say, oh, by the way, I want to add a portico. I mean, it's those physical structures that change the appearance that we want to avoid, where we don't want to interfere with your plans.
Yep. Cool.
Perfect.
All right, guys.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you all. I really appreciate it. I'll see you around town.
Stay safe.
I told Chuck this morning, I said, it seems so weird that we're doing this on video when we all live within about, half a mile of each other. If that.
Yeah, exactly. I could walk to your house in like 2 minutes.
Well, we could have had we could have had your meeting. We could have had the meeting outside in your backyard.
I know. I was almost going to offer up the deck.
If it was warmer, we could have had the
All right. Very good.
All right, perfect. Thank you, Robert.
All right. Take
Thanks,
care,
Robert.
guys. Stay safe. Yep.
Have a good night.
Good night.
All right, well, moving right along, right? I think we covered everything we need to with that. Right, Chuck?
I agree.
Nothing else?
Yep, absolutely.
Excellent. So moving along, we have no public hearings scheduled for this evening. Treasurer's report. Gary, do you have one for us?
Yes, I do. There is a change to the budget. Initially, before I got a copy of the budget summary, we assumed that we had $600. We do not. We have a total of $400 for the fiscal year. And so far, we have expended and processed for payment $99.24. So there is $300.76 available.
Again, no trip to Bermuda for us.
No trip to Bermuda.
Yeah.
No. The study of historic districts in Bermuda will have to wait.
Did you get all of that, Aaron?
Yeah, I wrote it all down. Yep.
Okay, $400 minus $99.24.
Budgeted, right? That's what we thought it was originally, but it was actually the 400. We spent $99.24 and have remaining $300.76.
You got it.
Got it. Perfect. All right.
Just so everyone,
Chuck.
Gary, I'm sorry. Let me just jump in.
Yeah,
just so everyone understands, if we run out of money, the town will just transfer to it. What they're trying to do is
That's right.
Trying to eliminate money put back.
I don't think we've run out of money since I've been on the commission.
Probably
No, we have not.
We did 10, 15 years ago. They reduced us from like $1,500 when we were paying $180 per legal notice, way down because we didn't do much one year. Just nobody ever came forward, and they reduced us way down. We had to get an advance of $200 or whatever it was.
Gotcha. All right. Well, moving on to continuing business, we have Monroe Center signs, the Giannini property, and any district boundaries. Do we need to discuss any of that this evening, or do you want to table it?
Wanted to call attention to the fact that
Sure.
the two missing historic district signs, one on 111 and one on Moose Hill, they have been installed.
I saw that. Were those
That's
the two?
wonderful.
Were those the missing signs, or did we have to get more?
We had to buy 2 more,
So okay.
but it wasn't charged to our budget. It was charged to the Public Works budget.
Gotcha.
Oh, good. Thank you for that, Gary.
Yeah, I
Always
noticed.
helpful.
Yeah,
That always helps.
Go ahead. Was someone saying something?
I just said Public Works paid for the original ones as well.
That's right.
It's because they're responsible for signs. When Vita was on the commission, she was the one who got the first selectman to opine that was a actual. It's our job to request them and approve them. It's their job to pay for them and maintain them.
Perfect.
That is good.
Yeah, and anything that we don't have to do is even better. That's all right. So
Okay.
I'm moving down the agenda. Public participation. There's no public participation this evening. New business not scheduled. Oh, now we move from continuing business to ongoing business. District violations, resident mailing lists, certificate of appropriateness process, and town hall archive. I don't know what we need to do with those, right? Other than make sure we keep submitting our minutes on time, and I don't think we have violations.
No, that should be fine. They're there so we can discuss them whenever something comes up.
Perfect. That's what I figured. I just wanted to make sure I was going through our list. Well, if nobody has anything else, I can adjourn the meeting. Is that acceptable to everybody?
Yes.
Sounds good to me.
All right, then I will adjourn the meeting at 8:03 p.m.